This week, I tracked every single dollar my wife and I spent, and I've got to say, I was a little surprised by the total amount. In today's video, I'll be breaking down exactly what we spent in a week as two nurses living in Queensland, Australia, and whether we stayed on budget or we completely blew it. I'll go through everything from groceries to bills to takeout, fuel, and even random stuff that always sneaks up, or our impulse buys. So grab a drink, stay hydrated, and let's get into it. Before we dive in, here's a bit of context. My wife and I are both registered nurses. Our shifts change week to week, so our spending changes too. Sometimes we're both working heaps, barely spend anything, and other times we're off together and end up eating out or doing something fun. We also own our own home, and we've had a roommate for the past couple of years who pays us rent each week, which helps us offset a bit of the mortgage, so that's nice. We try to be smart with money, but we're definitely not perfect, so this is just a realistic look at what a week of spending can look like for us. And in this video, just for context as well, we will be running through my week from the 3rd of November to the 10th of November. So let's get started with essentials and the stuff that we really can't afford. Groceries came out to $1,040 this week. I know that sounds super crazy. 1 week, $1,000. What are you guys eating? To be honest, $660 of that was spent on our beef order. And this is the first time we're doing this. It's high quality farm to table grass-fed beef. And when buying this amount in bulk, it works out to be a pretty good price per kilo, actually. Especially since we're not just getting mince, we're also getting T-bone steaks, tomahawks, ribeye, roasts, briskets, ossobuco, and a lot more. Where we have done a little bit of cooking with the mince already, and we can say there's a noticeable difference in quality. It looks really nice, tastes really nice. So hopefully it's healthier for us, and we shouldn't need to buy beef for a very long time because there's so much of it. Although we're spending a lot of money now, it should save us money in the long run because we're buying all of our beef in bulk. We also spent about $280 on groceries this week, so that's included in that $1,000 that I mentioned before. We usually do one big Woolies run on our day off, but we often find ourselves back there pretty often doing small top-ups on just things like milk and bread and snacks. We try to meal prep quite a bit for work, things like stir fries and wraps, and we've loved cooking this burrito mix lately. This week we cooked some pesto chicken pasta, which tasted awesome. Cooking in big batches like this definitely helps us with convenience. It gives us the ability to just grab and go. And again, buying food in bulk and prepping it, when you calculate how much each serving costs, it works out to only be a few dollars per meal. Also, it stops us buying takeout at work or going to the hospital cafe when we're hungry, which definitely helps cut costs as well. We've noticed that grocery prices have been creeping up. I'm sure everyone's been noticing that. So lately we're trying to shop smarter. We're using Flybuys points, shopping specials, trying to stick to the list. However, something we've always tried to stick to is we never want to sacrifice our health for saving a few dollars on groceries. Yes, we could buy lower quality food, more unhealthy food, and we could save a few bucks, but at the cost of our health, we really think that's just not worth it. Moving on, we've got bills. This week, it came to about $422. The bills that came out this week includes electricity, internet, and our health insurance. So quite a few of our bills came out this week, which was a little bit annoying. Our phone plans were paid the week prior, so we don't see the money coming out this week because our phones were already paid for. And as for our mortgage, when broken down weekly, we pay $750 per week. We pay a considerable amount extra on our mortgage. We really only need to be paying about $550 per week at the moment, but we want to get ahead and we want to save as much interest as we can. So this is what we've committed to. Thankfully, with our roommate contributing rent, that helps lighten the load quite a bit. Otherwise, it would be a pretty considerable chunk of our income. Next up, we've got eating out and just fun money. Just one of those categories that really sneaks up on you when you're not keeping track of it. But this week we spent $181 on eating out. This includes a few coffees throughout the week, a trip to the local bakery here to get some pastries. We also got to catch up with Sophie's mum at the bakery, which was pretty fun. Also, once per month, as part of my new job, I am forced, to buy food out. It would be very inconvenient for me to bring lunch with me, so I do buy food out. At least it's a tax deduction, so that's kind of nice. But this really shows you how this money can really add up fast if you're not tracking it or being mindful about it. I will say that usually we are pretty good about bringing food to work. This weekend is really the only time throughout the month where I have to buy my lunch. Coffee is one of those small expenses that adds up really fast. Out of that $181, between the two of us, we spent about $63 just on coffee this week. This was a lot higher than we usually spend, but we don't really worry about it too much because we know it's an outlier. There was just a few times throughout the week where, say, we were going to pick up our beef order or going out to see Sophie's mum, where we just bought an extra coffee than we usually buy. So that's why it's added up and it's looked a little bit fatter than usual. Moving on, we've got transport. And with the both of us working in healthcare, we do drive quite a bit between different hospitals, early starts, late finishes. We aren't always on shift at the same time, so we end up taking a car each, which is a little bit annoying. And we didn't end up filling up both cars this week, so that came out to approximately $150, which doesn't actually feel too bad considering how much we drive, but parking is the one that really annoys me. We spent $22.40 on parking this week, and it just hurts every time. I feel like nurses, we should be able to park at our place of work for free, but that's a rant for another day. Public transport isn't really an option for us here in our hometown. It's just the infrastructure isn't there to be able to get from our house to work reliably and in a quick fashion. So it's just not really realistic. So for now, fuel and parking is just part of the deal. Next up, subscriptions. None of our subscriptions came out this week. They were all paid for on previous weeks. So that really helps with this final number because I feel like every other category has been an overspend. We're actually planning to do a little bit of a subscription audit. I like to do them fairly regularly, so I'm not too worried, but I just like to keep on top of it and make sure we're not paying for things that we aren't using. It's crazy to see how easy it is to forget about those $10 or $15 charges that just quietly drain out your account each month. And I hate seeing it, so we will have a look at our subscriptions soon. Now for random miscellaneous spending. This week we had quite a bit of that. We spent about $700 on these random pop-ups, which is just crazy, but things happen. Both Kobe and I went to medical professionals this week. Kobe got a vet checkup for $129. He just got a general look over. He got his ears swabbed because he's prone to ear infections, and also got a dental checkup because I saw a little brown spot on his tooth and I was worried. So we got that checked as well. He got weighed and he seems to be a healthy, fluffy boy. So we're pretty happy with that. And other than that, I had to get my eye checked. I've been seeing an ophthalmologist about my eye for a while now. Just in my left eye, it's gotten a little bit blurry and weird. Turns out it was an allergy thing, caused my eye not to lubricate properly. So it's clearing up now. I'm seeing better, and this was really just a follow-up to make sure that I'm tracking okay. And that appointment was $445. Ouch. It's just what you have to pay sometimes here in Australia to see the specialists and the really professionals. So it does hurt, but I would rather have vision in my left eye than $445. So I'm just going to move on and forget about it. And finally, I also got a haircut, which was $50, and I bought a plastic mat to go under my office chair because I want to protect the carpet under my office chair. So that came to $75. So again, a lot more than we usually spend, but we don't get health checkups every week, and I will have this plastic mat under my chair for a very long time, so I shouldn't have to buy another one of those. So this number will definitely look different next week, but oh well. All right, let's add it all up. Our total spending for the week came to $3,265, And honestly, I was pretty surprised. I'm sure you guys are a little surprised by that number as well. A lot higher than I would have guessed. But we did have a lot of one-off expenses that inflated this number a decent amount, like my eye appointment and like the beef order. But here's a quick breakdown of where that money went. $2,212 went to our essentials, so our groceries, our food, our bills, and stuff like that. $181 went to eating out and coffee. $172 went to transportation, that's our fuel and also our parking. And then $700, which it wasn't any of our subscriptions, it was all extras. But seeing it broke down like this really helps me visualize it all and shows me that this week probably wasn't the best week to do this because of all the extra expenses that we usually wouldn't see. But my plan is to do a comparison video soon, highlighting a more normal week for spending for us. And then I can bring up this pie chart again and talk about the differences. Doing this challenge really opened my eyes how much like our spending is habit-based. The reason a big spend week like this doesn't really hurt us too much is because we have built good habits prior to this, which has given us a cushion to fall back on, especially if extra expenses pop up like expensive eye appointments. I am also confident that the following week and weeks after that won't look like this because we have built systems and habits in place to rein us back in and keep us living below our means. It's definitely motivated me to be a little bit more intentional where our money goes, especially as we work towards bigger goals like investing more, building up our savings, and possibly getting into a new property next year. And I'd actually recommend this to everyone, even just once. Track every dollar you spend and see what surprises you. It honestly is a good reset, and it's good to highlight things where you might be going wrong. So that's what we spent this week as two nurses living in Queensland. I hope this gave you a little bit of insight into what a week can look like for us. It won't look like this every week, but maybe even some motivation to do your own budget check. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit subscribe down the bottom so you can follow along for how our finances are tracking. Hit like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. And as always, I wish you all the best on your wealth building journey.